The Timberwolves select Kevin Garnett from Farragut Academy.
A high school kid? No chance.
You saw the future of what basketball was about to become.
He does whatever it takes to win a basketball game. All I know is all out. Oh, Bill, what's up? I want to be challenged to the end.
Anything's possible!
Kevin Garnett, SHOWTIME!
DraftKings has brought their expertise to legal sports betting.
DraftKings Sportsbook is the best in the game. It's a legitimate sportsbook based right here in the U.S., so you can sleep easy knowing your funds are secure.
All new customers can wager $1 on the game of their choosing. And then so long as the game doesn't end in a 0-0 tie, they will win $100 in free bets.
That's right. Bet just $1 on any basketball game, and DraftKings Sportsbook will give new customers $100 in free bets once either team scores a point.
Check it all out through the DraftKings Sportsbook app. There's player props, live betting, future betting, and much more to mess around with. Jack got some big games coming up this week, kicking it off with the Warriors-Nets, Spurs-Clippers, and 76ers-Jazz. I know you like that Warriors-Nets matchup.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game. Good to see KD go up against the Warriors every time they play, but the Warriors on a roll right now. We'll see if the Nets can put a little dumb in them.
This year, DraftKings Sportsbook has given all customers a chance to win big with their Game of the Week Wednesdays. Bet $50 on any marker for that week's chosen game, and customers will receive $1 per point over $200 towards a free bet.
Don't miss out on this week's basketball action with DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. That's promo code SMOKE. Head to the app now to check out all the great odds and promotions DraftKings Sportsbook has to offer. Would you take a show internationally with a live audience in attendance? Huge fan of the show from Melbourne, Australia, and would love to see it live, man. Dope. That's dope right there.
Shout out Australia. Man, we got to ask the bosses, but I think we keep winning, podcast of the year. How can they say no, Jack?
Right. Shout out to Melbourne, Australia. Shout out to Sydney, Australia. I played out there.
Is that where you said you had to shoot a kangaroo one time because he was fucking with you? Welcome back to What's Burning. Jack, what's good?
Cool, my brother. Enjoying this fall weather. What's good with you?
Man, I can't call it. Let's get to it, man. The week ahead, we got some interesting matchups this week, starting with the Mavs and Suns. They will play Wednesday and Friday. Let's talk about that matchup first and after. Do you feel either or both of these teams are legitimate top 4 seeds in the West? But let's get to the matchup first.
Chris Paul, Luka Doncic. You know what type of matchup it is. It's going to be a point guard battle. Which point guard can carry their team to a win? Or will they team to a win? It's going to be a good matchup. We love to see it. But the question you was asking me, Phoenix is proven to be a top 4 team, but Dallas has a lot more to prove to be a top 4 team.
I like the matchup. I can see them possibly splitting this 1-1. Suns are hot. Mavs are playing well too. The Suns have been doing all this without Ayton, so when he gets back, expect them to continue to pick it up. As far as if I see either one of these as a top 4 seed, I would probably have to go with Phoenix, but again, this might be the year that Luka really steps up and gets the rest of his team. Obviously, Luka's been playing great, but, get the rest of his team going, which is a true sign of an MVP, and they could sneak into the top 4. But if I had to choose one today, I would probably say Phoenix. Next up, Sixers-Nuggets. Battle of the bigs, Embiid versus Jokic. Which big man do you feel like will carry his team further this season?
Man, it's hard to say. When you got 2 big men that's that dominant and that really can do it all on the court, it's going to go down to which big man is the most dominant that night. It's hard for me to say because both of these guys can get off and carry their teams to big wins. But if I had to pick one, I'll go with Embiid. I think Embiid is going to have a better game. He's going to be on the road, so I think he's going to have more to prove.
These are obviously the 2 best bigs in the game. Jokic, you know what he's about. Embiid, I love Embiid, and he's finally able to stay somewhat healthy. To me, he's the most skilled big in the game. So I love when they bang against each other. Going into Denver is always a tough place to play. With that said, I'm going to take Denver that night. Home court, they've been playing solid, and again, you know what your lungs do when you go out there, especially what our lungs used to do when we would go out there.
Facts.
Lakers, Celtics, Friday. The rivalry continues. Celtics, a little inconsistent. Schroeder's playing well. Lakers continue to be very inconsistent. Bron is still out day to day. What do you think about this matchup right now? Neither team is really where they're capable of being.
Yeah, I think right now it's better for the Lakers because we know what Bron going to bring to the team. We know what Bron going to do. This gives other guys and the guys they acclimated to really get a feel for this team and get to playing with AD and Russ and Melo, get them all playing together. So I think it's not a bad thing that Bron's out right now. It gives them rest, you know what I mean, and gives these other guys a chance to step up. But the Celtics, they still trying to figure out who they are. You know, guys been injured. Brown is injured again. So that team is really up and down. But I think the Lakers will pull that game off in Boston. And I think Russ will have a big game.
See, I kind of counter back on what you're saying. I get what you're saying with Bron being down and you know what he can do, but I also think playing with Bron is a lot different. So I think the new guys like Russ need to be playing with Bron to really see what it's like to play with them because, you know, Russ is a different player when Bron hasn't been playing and then when he does play. So to me, I feel like for that chemistry to really get going and where this team needs to go, LeBron needs to be out there with these new guys because you all know, like, you know, guys like us, we're seamless. We can fit into any situation and play with any superstar. But sometimes it's hard to, if you're another star, as these guys are, it's hard to play with superstars. So, you know, I think you see two different Russes, and Russ is still trying to figure out what is the best Russ for the Lakers. So I think he obviously needs this time with LeBron. But with that said, you know, Celtics continue to be inconsistent. You're hearing talks now about possibly Ben Simmons for Jaylen Brown. Is it time to give up on the Brown Tatum wing combo? So I really think this team is, you know, very talented, but, you know, just no consistency. And it seems like no chemistry and rhythm with that squad. So we'll see what that has to look like on Friday. What are some of your, looking back on this Lakers Celtics, what are some of your favorite moments or moments that stand out to you the most throughout this rivalry?
Just the history with Bird and Magic, and also the finals between Kobe and KG and them. I think that was big. Growing up, you always heard about and watched the Lakers versus Celtics, heard about Bird and Magic and how they always battle with each other, heard about Bird left hand shooting and all that type of stuff. So, but we didn't really get a chance to see that, but we really got a chance to watch in person Kobe against the Celtics in those games. So that's the big games to me.
Agreed. Question: do you remember Lakers versus Celtics, the video game?
Do I?
That's when they
remember
first
that
started.
game?
Hey, that's when the hoop games first starting to be cool, man. Lakers, Celtics, Bulls, Blazers, all that kind of shit was hard back then.
Yeah, that was dope.
Next up on the radar, presented to you by DraftKings. Warriors are at the top of the NBA with an 11-2 record. Steph's playing on another planet, passing Ray Allen for most all-time three-pointers made. Thoughts on this team who isn't fully healthy yet and the way Steph's been playing?
Steph is just picking up where he left off last year. He was at MVP level last year, and he's starting the season off on that same note. I think he's just carrying his team and balling out right now until Klay get back, because he know it's going to take a minute for Klay to get his feet wet, get back to being comfortable on the court, catching the ball, moving and all that, starting and stopping. It's going to be a minute. So he still got to carry his team for the bulk of the season. But for the most part, these young guys are coming on. Gary Payton Jr. is playing well. And you got all those other guys coming in and playing well. So Steph's playing great, but this team as a whole is playing well.
Yeah, I agree. This team is playing really good, and I think the only question for me is Klay's been out for 2 years. So will Klay come back? And, normally when it's a situation like that, there's little nagging shit that'll hamper you. So I hope he's able to work through all that. Interesting to see Wiseman get back on the court. They played their rookie a little bit last night in the Charlotte loss. He was really active, long, he can play some good defense. They got a lot of good pieces on this team, and I think probably the most important piece and guy they need to play the way he's been playing is Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins is always like, damn, he's so talented, but there's a but. But I really think this team has him confident, believing in himself, and they're going to need his 20 to 22 points, not just in the regular season, but in the playoffs. And I think it flashes last year in the playoffs. He played really well and played lock-up defense too. So I think he's going to be a key piece to what they're doing. But, Jordan Poole, Gary Payton Jr., all these kids are really bringing a lot of energy, man. And obviously Draymond is being Draymond. So this team is going to be really scary once they get healthy. And it's good to see because, they went from a dynasty to walking doormats, and now they're back, and it's always dope to see people bounce back like that. Next up, Secure the Bag, presented to you by Moneyline. We got some shit going on, y'all. So the NBA has launched a probe into the Chicago Bulls and Miami Heat involving Lonzo Ball and Kyle Lowry. Allegations of tampering surrounding early contracts. The maximum fine for this could be up to $10 million per team, possible suspension of executives, forfeit draft picks, and even voiding contracts if violations are found. This sounds serious, but to me, if you think about free agency, as soon as free agency hits, any of those contracts that are like bang, 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 right after it comes, obviously, these motherfuckers have been talking. So to me, I think this is dumb because you can't, even if it's not executives talking to players or agents, it's players talking to players. So I kind of just think this is stupid because you can find this really across the board and they're singling out, two of the bigger free agent moves this year. But if you think about it, like how are any of these contracts happening as soon as free agency hits? So this is something that's been going on for a long time. I think they're trying to single out these two teams, which is dumb. Jack, what do you think?
Well, I totally agree with you, bro. I mean, there's no way that, like you said, these teams can make these deals and sign guys right after the deal. I mean, right when it's time to start signing guys, when it's time all these free agents are up, and they haven't talked to their agents or talked to these players. That's impossible. But at the same time, I think somebody's salty, Matt. Somebody's salty and bringing this up and trying to bring up some mess with these two teams. I think it's just somebody who didn't get one of these players or was lied to or somebody made a promise and they didn't get what they wanted, and now they salty and try to bring it up to bring up dirt on these two teams. And that's what it all boils down to.
I like that. I agree. They got some Karen executives crying to the league because they were supposed to get one of these players.
Word.
With salaries at an all-time high, do you think something like this can prevent free agents from securing the bag?
I think it'll be crazy to see one of these big players lose a contract, a contract get voided over something like this because they spoke to somebody or had a conversation with somebody not knowing that it would come to this, bro. I think that'll be crazy. I don't think it'll go smooth. I think it'll start a lot of chaos because it's never been done before because we know people talk all the time.
Yeah. See, I don't know. And really, should a player lose his money because the front office violated some rules? Like, there's no rules for us. You know what I mean? Like, guys throughout the season in the summertime are always talking about joining up or where they're going to go next summer, all this kind of shit. So that's common talk amongst players. So there's no real, that's just is what it is. Whether there's a rule with it or not, it's always going to happen. But if the front office fucks up, how can they take the money from the player? That'd be crazy. But I guess we'll just have to see. Hope these guys keep securing their bag, and if the teams get fined, they'll be all right. They got a lot of money. This Thursday, November 18th, we dropped the Fred VanVleet interview. Really got to know the little homie better. Great interview. Check out the teaser. What was your welcome to the NBA moment?
I had a few, but the first one was preseason. Again, I was trying to make the team. It was like our second to last preseason game. We playing the Clippers, CP, Blake, and all them. I was like I said, I was a third point guard, so I usually ain't checking in until like the second half of the game. And me and Kyle, we're not really that close at this time, so I didn't know he wasn't playing. Our guys don't play all the preseason games, so we standing in the huddle, Case drawing up the play, and he write my name on the board. This before the tip off, and I'm looking like, fuck, like, y'all wasn't gonna tell me I was starting. So, boom. So I'm taking my warm up and stuff off. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get ready. So I'm like, all right, bet. So now I'm out there. I'm nervous as hell. And this Chris Paul. You know what I'm saying? This is CP for me. This is good as it gets. So, man, he wasn't even shooting. I think he had like 13 points at halftime. He was double crossing me, spinning me around. They used to run the little high double drag at the top, Blake and DJ, and he was rejecting. I was trying, man. I was spinning around. I was so lost, and I just remember being in the locker room at halftime. I was just like, "Whew, yeah, this is a different level right here."
He said, "Whew,"
because he wasn't even like trying to score.
He wasn't even in kill mode either.
No, he wasn't even in kill mode. But he knew that I was a rookie, so he was letting me know.
Next up, fan questions. At SJC4401, who is your current MVP so far this season? Good question.
I'm going with Steph right now. I got to go with Steph right now. The way he's playing, they got the best record in the league. Like I said, he picked up from last year. He played the MVP level last year. I think he's the MVP so far right now.
I love it, and I'm not even mad at that. But I'm going to go with KD. I think they're second in the East right now with all the fucking mess they've had over there. Harden hasn't been playing well. He's finally starting to get his game together. But KD has been consistent, leading the league in scoring, shooting percentages are where they're at and then above. It just seems like with all the rule changes and the ball changes, the only one that hasn't been affected this year is, Steph and KD, although Steph's three-point shooting percentage is down a little bit. So tough question. Either one, I'm good with, either one of those guys being it. But in my opinion, I think it's KD right now.
Next fan question, a tonal assassin. How wonderful is it for you to see Carmelo Anthony shutting up the media with his great start off to the season?
Oh, it's beautiful. We've had this conversation. We finally had him on the show. We've been fighting for this dude since the OKC shit happened. But it's great. I mean, to come to LA, and you got to think he's got a lot of personal shit in his life that's in the media right now too. You know what I mean? So in LA, that's only magnified. But he's been able to come off there, shut all the noise up, and play great basketball off the bench, accepted his role, mentoring younger players, and shooting the shit out of that ball, man. So I'm very happy to see what Melo's doing right now.
The best way to quiet the doubters and shut them up is to go out there and ball. They used to always say that.
Next up, Mr. Darren _Dancer. I have 2 questions for Steven Jesse Jackson. Which would you rather see happen? Kevin Garnett get traded to the Warriors, or the malice in the palace never happens? With that choice, do you believe you guys would have won an NBA championship? That's a good question.
Oh. I have to pick one, though? Which would I rather see?
That's tough, right?
Rather see happen?
That might be one of the best questions we've ever had.
The brawl was kind of inevitable. Like something was going to happen that year with that team eventually. Maybe not the brawl. Maybe it happened at the club. Just something was going to happen. You know what I mean? It was just too many real ones on it.
That team was going to derail.
Too many project babies on that team, man. It was too many project babies. So, but if we could have got Kevin Garnett to that We Believe team, championship was in our view. We was going to touch a trophy, whether it was the Western Conference Finals trophy or the NBA Finals trophy. We was going to touch the trophy. I just don't know which one.
Man, KG to that We Believe team would have been unbelievable. But then you also think if the malice never happens, the trajectory of your career changes too. You get to save some bread. They don't hold shit against you, so you're making all-star games. So that's a tough question.
Yeah, that is a tough one because we damn sure was going to win the championship. That team, Matt.
Yeah, y'all was tough.
Next fan question at asan.god.nick. One big purchase you regret?
Man, I truly have to say I never was really crazy with my money and bought jewelry or too many cars or crazy houses. I'd probably say the one regret during my career with my money is I was just too giving. I gave a lot of people a lot of money. So I would probably say that would probably be my regret. It wasn't so much me splurging on anything because I wasn't really like that. I would just say me just be given too forthcoming to try to help so many people.
I think the dumbest purchase I've ever bought was I was too influenced by rap music. Fucking Jay-Z was talking about a Porsche 911, and I went and got that shit and forgot I was 6'8", and it felt like I was riding on my ass was hitting the street on every bump. Man, I got rid of that shit 3 days later. It was the dumbest move ever. I had to stop taking rap music so serious.
Well, that's when you was a rapper, though, too.
I was at the time.
JCB_35. Have y'all been on College Hoops? What do you think about Seattle's next superstar? Paulo. Yo, this fucking kid is incredible. I didn't mean to jump the gun, but I've been hearing about him from my homeboy Spencer Haas for the last 4 years. He's like, yo, we got someone special who's going to be a star in this game. And I started checking him out. Jack, he came out to Memphis and played in the game, didn't he?
Yeah, man, I got a chance to coach him in the Iverson game.
Okay.
Man, hey,
right.
This kid is a problem, man. This kid is a problem, man. Shout out to Bobby, shout out to Jai at the Iverson Classic, man. And we got a lot of kids that That's a couple kids playing with him at Duke and a couple of other top college kids that played in the game last year. But Paolo, man, I'm telling you, he is a problem, bro. Number 1 pick possibly next year, Matt. We want it done for sure.
Yeah, big, strong, can do it all. Having his way over at Duke. Yeah, this kid is it's fun to see that kind of talent.
Next fan question, Dan Otterman. Would you take a show internationally with a live audience in attendance? Huge fan of the show from Melbourne, Australia, and would love to see it live, man. Dope. That's dope right there.
Shout out Australia. Man, we? Yeah, man, we're teaming up with a team called Light, and we're going to start touring in the States in 2022, hoping all this COVID stuff allows us to. But yeah, man, live shows is something we've been talking about. We've been wanting to take all the smoke to the next level. So, yes, live shows. I mean, I don't know if we'll be able to get to Australia. You got to ask the bosses. But I think if we keep winning, podcasts of the year, how can they say no, Jack?
Right. Shout out to Melbourne, Australia. Shout out to Sydney, Australia. I played out there when I first came out. When I was 18, I broke my foot out there because I was scoring too much weed from the local bars and wasn't taking basketball serious. But shout out to Melbourne, Australia, and Sydney, man. Y'all showed me a lot of love out there, and y'all had that pack.
Is that where you said you had to shoot a kangaroo one time because he was fucking with you?
Fucking kangaroo. Oh, my goodness. That was my first time seeing the Aborigines, though, man. They was cool people, man. They was different, but they was cool.
Closing thoughts. Man, I'm so happy for this team right here, man. The Washington Wizards sitting at the top of the East right now, doing all this while Bradley Beal is dealing with the loss of his grandmother. Condolences from me and Jack, obviously. New additions have been amazing. This Westbrook Laker trade has really benefited the Wizards. Montrezl Harrell's averaging 18 and 9. Kuzma's averaging 15. I think he's right below a double-double. Spencer Dinwiddie, people forgot about him. What he was doing in Brooklyn before he got hurt. He's at 16, 5 and 5. And KCP is rounding it out. With this team, what kind of noise do you feel like they can make in the Eastern Conference, Jack?
They can make big noise. They definitely, and I think the first step for them is getting into the playoffs. And seeing and try to upset somebody in the playoffs. But I'm really happy for Montrez, bro. He really got screwed in L.A. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, while I'm talking about Montrez,
absolutely.
Happy birthday to his mother, because his mother and my mother's birthday was on we said it. We gave him shots out a week apart in the same month. So happy birthday to my mother.
Man, happy birthday to both moms.
Yeah, he gave his mom a shout out yesterday.
Absolutely.
But I'm happy for him, dog, because he deserved it. He had to get a chance to ball and be him. He's helped turn this team around. And we talked about him a lot when he was with the Lakers, how he could have helped that team, and they didn't use him. So to see him to get to Washington, to get a chance to play and be him again, it's good to see, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I love what this team is doing. Bradley Beal has thugged this out. We've all been talking about where's he going, what's he going to do. He stayed loyal. But it's crazy to me how you see from the first wave of Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Julius Randle, these guys leave the Lakers and go on to get big contracts, most improved, really start to spread their wings. And now you're seeing it with this wave of Lakers that just get traded. Kyle Kuzma is, at 15 and 10 almost. Montrez, like you just said, didn't get utilized right. KCP, you know how many big shots he hit in the finals for that championship Laker team. So it's crazy how when these guys leave the Lakers, they're able to kind of really find their game or get back to what they used to be. So kind of interesting take, but, definitely happy for this team. And agree, making the playoffs is the first step, but I definitely think this team has, is going to be a scary out come playoff time. Man, so Jack, I think we might have something to do with this, although, they've both been training and been in the space for a minute, but we got Darren Williams fighting Frank Gore. That fight has officially been announced on the undercard of Paul Fury. Obviously, Showtime pay-per-view, December 18th in Tampa. Thoughts on this?
I hope they got us down as promoters for the fight, because we damn so helped promote this motherfucker when we was talking to Darren. You know what I'm saying? We spoke it into fruition, so I hope we get some promoters paper. You know what I'm talking about? But it's gonna be a good fight, bro. I'm happy for both of these guys. We both know they've been training. You know what I'm saying? The NFL against the NBA. It's gonna be good to see. I hope both of these brothers go out there and put on a great performance. Nobody get hurt. But I'm pulling for Darren, of course.
Yeah, obviously. I'm a huge Frank Gore fan too, because you know, he was our running back out here in San Francisco for a long time. But yeah, I obviously got to go with D. Will to represent our sport. But I think this is dope, man. I wish they could have fought some other people first before they got to each other, but they started with each other. But this could be a new trend, man. So excited to see what this is about. Man, well, I hope you enjoyed this episode of What's Burning. You can catch What's Burning every week on Showtime Basketball YouTube.
And on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Show Basketball. Peace.
The Timberwolves select Kevin Garnett from Farragut Academy.
A high school kid? No chance.
You saw the future of what basketball was about to become.
He does whatever it takes to win a basketball game. All I know is all out. I want to be challenged to the end.
Anything's possible!